My name is Venkat. I've been following your post right from 1998 from the Indian civilization into civilization. We've had some.
Sulekha days.
Okay, I have a very specific question. So when you talk about Indology, we cannot, we cannot avoid talking about linguistics.
Yes.
Right. So scholars like Koinad Elst, Karthik Venkatramani, which you should be in personal touch with. So they have a different take on the origin of Sanskrit or origin of Aryan or whatever. I mean, where this Vedic language actually originated. What's your take on that? I just wanted to understand your point of view. Specifically, Koinad Elst and also Karthik Venkatramani. Karthik Venkatramani is also known as Kalave Venkat and is a very staunch
See, I'll tell you my view.
Right.
My view is that the sequence has been reversed when they say that there is Sanskrit and then somebody sat down and wrote the Vedas. The Vedas are in a state of consciousness, the rishis have, in which the Vedas emerge as sounds, and then later these sounds become a language that you can use to order a cup of tea also, and so on. So I think the Vedas, Vedas are earlier than the language. It's very different than any other language because nobody would say that, something like Shakespeare came first and English came later or something like that. I mean, always language and then the prevailing surviving texts. But here's a case where a huge corpus of text emerges, and then the mental mind, which is a lower level than this rishi state, I call that the rishi state, at the lower level it turns it into conceptual ideas to make sense of it, because at the intellectual level we want to make sense of things. So then we come up with sort of a language analysis, linguistics and so on. So that's my view. So, and I feel that if you look at the Vedas themselves, so I don't want to look at the origin of Sanskrit, because if you look at the origin of Vedas, that will answer the question. If you look at the origin of Vedas, what they are describing is not found in Central Asia. There is no big ocean there, for one thing. And you look at the flora, fauna, B.B. Lal, a former director of the Archaeological Survey of India, a very, very good dharmic person, also an archaeologist, by the way, but in his case, looking with his dharmic eyes, looking for the dharmic messages in the archaeology. Very, very interesting. He has written a book, and I've talked to him at great length, amazing person. And he has shown very convincingly that the flora fauna in the Vedic literature is consistent with India and is not found in Central Asia. He's done that. Pinching evidence which will come. Vasant Shinde, who runs the Deccan College, VC Deccan College, he wrote one of our 10 volumes. We published 10 volumes on the history of Indian science and technology. We've done that. One of them is by him. And he has just announced that for the first time they found human remains in a Harappan site with DNA. Previously there was no DNA, So now they found something with DNA, and pretty old. So they're now looking at comparing that DNA with various populations. And for the first time, he feels that a convincing case will be made on who were the Harappans in terms of DNA genetically. And he's not giving away his story, he wants to publish it. I think he's a smart guy. So we'll wait and see what the story is.
Yeah. One more short question, sir.
Sure.
If I'm not taking much of your time. See, I have not read your book, been following your posts and all those things.
But you should read my books also.
Certainly do. I'll do that. Okay. Just a small observation.
I need to convince the publishers. Not only we got 40 times as many petitions, but these people actually buy my book and read my book, and therefore my books are important for future.
I am one of those 12,000. One of those 12,000 people who have supported your.
Excellent. So okay. Now you should turn that support into books.
Sure, sir. Certainly. Okay. My question is this. So if you look at the evolution of Sanskrit per se, so Sanskrit did not have any written scriptures.
Yes.
Written style. So even the
Devanagari comes later.
Yeah, correct.
There's Brahmi, there's Prakrit.
Right. So have you bought this specifically in your book, or?
No, I haven't. This is not. I'm not teaching you Sanskrit in this book, and I'm not teaching you the beauty of Sanskrit, the greatness of Sanskrit. I'm doing only one thing, and that itself takes 500 pages. I'm doing a Purva Paksha Western Indology. So I'm taking what they have written, which is objectionable, which would be red flags in any audit. I'm kind of an auditor saying these guys have done all this, and I'm auditing and coming up with red flags and coming up with reasons that there are problems. So that's what I'm working on. Just to tell you why I did this, you should know. In August or so 2014, I'm suddenly told that Sringeri Peetham is going to create a chair in Columbia University for representing and teaching and interpreting Adi Shankara. It will be called Adi Shankara Chair of Religion and Philosophy by Sringeri Peetham, something like that it was called. And it is funded by NRIs who put in $4-5 million, feeling very proud. And I was told that it's too late for you to raise questions because the Shankaracharya has already blessed it. Once he blesses it, he can't unbless it. There is no unblessing ritual, is what I was told. So it's too late if you have questions and so on. So you can just jump on board and so on. So I could have just taken the easy way out and become very good guy in their books, you know, like other NRIs there. So I raised questions, and this was a chair who to be set up, and the selection committee and all that controlled by Sheldon Pollock, who's the subject of my Purva Paksha. So I said, my God, this is really bad news. Why are we outsourcing the ambassadorship of our tradition to people who are actually taking positions against it? I mean, he's more like a Charvak, or more like a Nastik, or more like a Charvak. And why would you take somebody like that and have them represent Adi Shankara? And I was told things like, Westerners are better scholars than Indians. I was told this kind of stuff. And I said, well, in that case, you should fund the Indians to become better. Raise their level. Raise their level. If you can do it with IT and with other things, you can do it with our tradition. Raise their level to international level. I'll work with them. So I was told all sorts of things why this is already a done deal and so on. So after arguing a lot with people in the US, both those who are funding this chair and the Sringeri Mutt people, representatives there, finding that I'm not getting anywhere, I decided I'll come to Sringeri and meet the Shankaracharya. And Mohanji came with me and a few other people. We went there, met the Shankaracharya, and basically said that I fully respect whatever your decision is, but all I want to do is to let you know what you guys will be getting into. I want to do a Purva Paksha. And you see, I found that Purva Paksha term is a magic term when you're talking to traditionalists. Without the term, they'll say things like, why should I worry about others? Truth is in my heart, or something like, everybody is the same, we're all good people. They talk all this kind of stuff, you know, to kind of get out of the responsibility of looking at others and critiquing them. The moment you say, I'm doing Purva Paksha Western Indology, in the same spirit as Adi Shankara did Purva Paksha of opponents, immediately they say, that's a very good idea, we ought to do it. I mean, that's how can they walk away from Purva Paksha being in the Shankara tradition, because that was his strength. So they liked the idea I'm doing Purva Paksha. I said I need a little time, I'll have my book out. I didn't have a book idea, I thought I'll do a 50-page paper. And then this 90-day project became 6 months, then it became longer, it ended up as a 500-page book. So I just want to start the tradition of Purva Paksha applied to those who control Indology today. And I am not taking any personal shots at anybody. I just want to make sure that this happens in a respectful atmosphere, and I am not the best guy to do it. I just happen to be the one doing it, and I'd like others more qualified to take over.